Welcome back to the Preneur Life. Today we're going to be talking about the qualities of a leader. Do you have any of these qualities? Let's find out. Welcome back, Preneurs. We have 10 qualities for you to figure out again if you are that qualified leader. Let's talk about the first one is, are you even fun to be around, or do you feel like you're a drag? And again, you have to love you to really understand this concept. So the real question is, do you love you? You spend more time with yourself than anyone else in the world. So again, are you fun to be around? Do you enjoy being around yourself? And do other people also feel the same way as well? That's your first one. Number two for you, do you have a low identity or do you have a high identity? And when you really start thinking about the deciphering if you are a low identity or high identity is really understanding self-esteem. Do you really believe in yourself? Do you really believe that you're going to take yourself to the next level? And that's very important. And when you start stepping into leadership. Point number three, are you a student? Are you a student of yourself, really understanding what your weaknesses and your strengths are? Are you a student of your industry that you're a part of? Are you a student to be able to make sure that you're leading yourself to the next level? And the real question is your cup full? Okay, or is it empty? And when you start stepping into leadership, if you're deciding to step into this game, is that your cup needs to be empty. Why? Because there's always something new to learn for yourself. So that was point number three. Let's jump right into point number four. So how fast is your speed of implementation? So when you learn something new for yourself, how fast do you take that to action? Okay, because speed of implementation is everything when it comes to leadership. Point number five is, are you someone that holds grudges or are you someone that's able to let things go? And what it really means is, are you more of a victim or a victor in your situations? And in leadership, you have to learn how to become the victor, because if you step into the victim mentality, that means that the world is always against you. At least that's your perspective. Someone's always attacking you, trying to take something from you, and no one can ever make you happy. So in that regards, when you start really stepping into this leadership concept, you want to make sure that you're able to let things go if it's not productive to where you're trying to go as well. So point number six, are you really a worker? How is your work ethic? How would you gauge that? If I said from a scale through 1 through 10, you have high work ethic, would you say that you have high work ethic? If I ask your family, would that be also the same thing that they would say as well? If I ask your friends, your network, your colleagues, would they say, man, your work ethic is very strong, you're very productive? Are you someone that kind of takes a lot of breaks? You know, when no one's watching, you kind of cut corners. How is your work ethic when no one's watching? Because that's what it really matters. Point number seven, what is your principles and values? And does that duplicate to your next generation? Okay, so as a leader, the real question for yourself is, if someone's watching you, let's just say that you have children if you don't already. If your kids are watching, do you want those principles and values to translate into them? If I had someone else that's watching my leadership, that's following my leadership, would I want their kids to be watching me and duplicating that as well because of my principles and values? That's very, very important. Point number eight, are you constantly improving yourself, understanding that there's no ending? So in the game of leadership, there is no game clock. There is no, well, I'm going to hit this level and that's it. In the game of leadership, you have to understand that you're always going to keep improving constantly until your last breath. And that takes us to point number nine, is, do you really trust you? All right, because if you don't trust you, how can you lead anyone else? And the definition of leadership is meaning I'm leading someone else to leadership. And so that's very, very important. You got to lead yourself to leadership first, and you have to be able to trust you before anyone else is going to trust you. And that goes back to character, integrity, principles, and values as well. So do you trust what you're going to say? And do you keep your word to yourself? When you say you're going to wake up at 5 a.m. to go to the gym, do you go do that? Do you say when you're going to have a diet because you want to get better fit, do you do that? And so you have to learn how to be able to trust you and your words and what you say you're going to do so you can implement that in your life effectively. So that takes us to our last point. Point number 10 is, are you sensitive? Can you really take feedback? Can you take the truth? Or are you someone that always has to defend their position where no one around you even feels comfortable even telling you that there's a problem? And that's very important. You have to have associations, you have to have mentors, you have to have coaches around you that's willing to tell you the truth effectively so you can keep growing. Okay? And that takes us to what? The real truth. And the real truth is this: if you're watching this, it's because you want to get better at leadership. So go in and check out our Leadership Fundamentals series for more videos on how to increase your leadership to a whole different level. We'll see you on the next one.